was just thinking on this stage of the why. I think my grandfather really informed a lot of my political views. My grandfather was a city college kid, went to Columbia Law School, worked as a lawyer in the Woolworth building downtown, and his father was an immigrant, sort of immigrant mentality. And I'm sure a lot of people in this room have that history. And it was all about making it, getting established in America. And he actually spent a lot of his non-legal time writing letters to the editor to the Times. And so he loved to get in the Times. And unfortunately, he was dead by the time I got this current job. But I would have loved to have told him I got a job at the Times, the paper he really loved to get his name into. But you're born with that immigrant mentality. So it's all about social mobility. And so to me, to enhance social mobility, I think we have to take some things from column A and some from column B. From the Republicans, I think they're right about the need to simplify the tax code. I think they're right about the need to reform Medicare to keep the costs under control. From the Democrats, I think their human capital agenda is far superior. The early childhood education, the job training, the infrastructure, all that kind of stuff. And so these are column A and column B. It's not meeting in the middle, it's taking from each side. Unfortunately, that seems to be impossible right now. But I think we'll have, since I think that's the answer, I think we'll get there, but I think we will have to have a crisis that really shakes things up. And I think what's discouraging me about Obama, who I think he's liberal, but he's not a particularly ideological person, is that in the recent campaign, he's been much less about big ideas. And so today I open my phone and I get an email. If you're a political pundit, you get this email from a guy named Mike Allen at Politico called Political Playbook, which is sort of what's happening the day. And the big headline is, White House launches big initiative on textbook digitalization. And, the country is potentially facing decline. But by God, we're going to have a policy on textbook digitalization. And it's just a small micro policy. And I understand why you're doing it. It signals certain things to the electorate. You care about regular problems. It's just not of the right size. And so I'm pessimistic about policymaking in the short term, but we'll get there.
So let me ask you a very deeply unfair question. And I ask it because you have in the past been asked to advise heads of state. I know, in England that has happened. Let's assume someone whisks you to Washington, the next president of the United States in some years, and says, okay, Brooks, I read The Social Animal. I'm completely convinced. Tell me how we change the culture of the city.
Yeah, well, first thing...
You have 5 minutes, go.
Okay, well, the culture of the city. Yeah, so, one of the themes of the book is that you can't consciously change your mind. You can't say, okay, I will now think better. If you could do that, New Year's resolutions would work. But you can change your behavior, and through changing your behavior, you can change your mind. So behavioral change precedes mental change. The Alcoholics Anonymous people know this. They call it fake it till you make it. And so what you got to do is you got to get people together. You got to say, we're here. We're not going to get together for the sake of civility. I don't believe anybody will sacrifice anything for the sake of civility. You get together to solve a common problem, and you pick one. It would be nice if we were invaded by a foreign planet, and we would all get together, but that's probably not going to happen. And so you pick a problem, and you try to pick one that you can work on constructively, which is why I think tax reform, which is an idea that does have bipartisan, sort of a consensus on what should be done. And so by the actual practice of working together, you would actually get to know one another. I have a dumb quota system in my interviews. If I interview a Democrat, I interview a Republican. It's just 1-to-1. And I know they know very little about the other party, because when they start telling me about what people in the other party are thinking, I know that what I'm about to hear is mostly going to be untrue, because they just don't know. The Republicans know about the Democrats from Fox News, and the Democrats know about the Republicans from Rachel Maddow. And so you get a weird picture. It's not that it's completely inaccurate, but I often want to say, I was just in the office. That's not what they're thinking. And so that would be a first useful step, picking a policy about which there can be mutual agreement, and then you work from there.
The sort of 12-step program of Washington.
Yeah, except for the reverse, because one of the things that needs to happen, there needs to be a lot more bourbon drinking, because they used to get drunk together at night. And now they all fly home or drink water and go to the gym. The only place where members of Congress really meet each other is in the gym. because they no longer have social lives.